Welcome back, my homies. I was thinking about the campaign I run for my family and how it's evolved over time. Starting with Lost Mine of Phandelver and eventually moving into a fully homebrewed adventure. It got me thinking about railroading in D&D and how DMs can sometimes fall into the trap very easily, and how I remove the rails from my games by thinking a little bit differently about how I design adventures, and thinking about D&D as fun. So today let's talk about living world adventure design. It's a method I have gradually been moving into over the years that really fits my tables just a little bit better. You see, in a lot of structured adventures we see in official content, we see things laid out in chapters, broken up by scenes, and the expectation is that the players move from chapter to chapter linearly. The rails are rarely visible to the players most of the time, but they are there. In fact, often the attention and motivation of the players is controlled simply by controlling the available information. Take Lost Mine of Phandelver, for example. We see this quite a bit. You start out heading down a road to deliver goods to Phandalin, and end up in a goblin ambush. The players then find a path to the cave where they can clear it and rescue Sildar. Sildar then hands the players the next step to take by detailing how he and Gundren were captured and providing players with their first plot points like Wave Echo Cave, the Black Spider, and Cragmaw Castle. Armed with these nuggets of information to investigate, they head on to Phandalin and onwards through the adventure. And while I absolutely adore Lost Mine of Phandelver, this is pretty railroady. The players will be handed off from scene to scene, and unless things really get weird, they will progress through the adventure chapter by chapter as expected. And for new players, this is pretty ideal. Most new players need a little rail to guide them. But let's say you finish Lost Mine and your players want to keep the party going, onwards to their next adventures. Sure, you could pick up Dragon of Icepire Peak, Acquisitions Incorporated, or the new Phandelver and below and bridge them into that, or you could get busy writing your own. After all, you know your players, you have watched them at the table and you know what makes their eyes light up, what interests them. And so homebrewing is probably the best way forward. So you get going, start writing. They're in Phandalin and they meet a guy, and then they do a thing and then another thing, and then 3 more things before they meet the big bad evil guy, and boom, campaign is locked in, let's game. But what if you didn't write it just like the way you saw it in the book in Lost Mine? What if instead we let the NPCs in your adventure have their own agendas, their own lives? These characters will live in the same world as the players, but might not even know or care about the players. They carry out their plans regardless of the players' actions. For instance, take Glassstaff in Lost Mine of Phandelver. In the book, he just waits around in a hideout for the players. But as the leader of the Red Bands, why wouldn't he be active in town, visiting the tavern, intimidating shop owners, meeting with and making demands of the townmaster? After all, what's the fun of controlling an entire town and then sitting in a dark dungeon? It's more exciting if players see him around town, even if they don't know who he is. Treating NPCs like real people with real motivations opens up possibilities. Perhaps the players, when they finally do clear Trezendar Manor, he's not even there, but instead at the Stonehill having dinner with some homies. This could lead into a rumble in the streets in Phandalin, involving the whole town, making the story more engaging and player-driven. Instead of detailing the path to the big bad evil guy, detail the big bad evil guy themselves. Define who they are, what resources they have at their disposal. Work out where the big bad evil guy lives and where they're currently located. Figure out what their grand evil plan is and create steps they have to go through in order to achieve it, to achieve their master plan. Then think about who works with the big bad evil guy. Think about how they interact. Is it direct or veiled in secrecy? Are they known to the citizens around them, or are they hidden in the shadows? Then be sure to add in some actors that would be allies to the players and why. And even include some people who would be completely indifferent to the players as well. Once you have your framework for your actors, kick it off right with a big boom. The first step in the evil plot happens, something dramatic, something newsworthy. A murder in the streets, a break-in at a museum, a mysterious and gruesome shipment moving in and out of unusual places. The actions of your actors should be felt by the players. A museum break-in would be big news. Rumors about who did it and what they took would swirl around town. While the players would surely find out about that, maybe another actor in the larger plot is a shopkeep. Maybe the players hear about something as simple as a sale at the local blacksmith. The blacksmith is doing a big sale because he's tired of being harassed by the local ruffians and is moving to Waterdeep. Maybe those local ruffians are the same people that broke into the museum. Once you have this, you have your adventure. Now for prep, before every game, know the locations of every actor. Are they in Neverwinter or Phandalin or traveling the High Road? Keep them in a quick list so that you know where they are and what they're doing. And I know this sounds like a lot to keep up with, but honestly, you can weave a web of stories around the players simply by ignoring the players completely and letting the actors do what they do best, act on the world around them. When your players fly off the rails because the rails never existed in the first place, you can easily roll with it because you know who they might bump into and what rumors they might hear about. And sure, you can speed things up when they get a little stuck by moving an actor or two closer into their orbit. After each session, update your actors in response to what happened in the game. Let's say a mid-level henchman gets killed. What do all the low-level henchmen do? Does the big bad evil guy then promote one of them? Is there infighting for the position? Could the players capitalize on this? Who knows? It's entirely up to your players. The possibilities are endless and reactive to how your players live in the world. This is how I write all of my adventures now. It feels honest to me. It feels realistic. Truth be told, if the players uncover the plot and save the world, they actually did save the world, because if they hadn't gotten involved, the actors in your world would have carried out their evil deeds uninhibited by pesky heroes. And you know this as the DM because you detailed exactly what they would do. That's it for now, my guys. Let me know in the comments if you do something similar to this, or what other methods you use to keep a world open and realistic. Have a killer week, and I'll see you guys next time.